Okay, let's try this again. I think my connection might be a little better. Yesterday and today talk about big leaps and kind of busting through some things. I definitely am feeling just some obstacles coming up, such as internet issues and my videos and things like that. So here I am, I'm back on. You're welcome to pop on here and we can ask your astro questions, but all planets are direct. They will be direct till March. This is a really important time to jump forward, to blindly just jump into the unknown. This is the time for it. And so I was talking about Pluto sextiling Jupiter, and Pluto sextiling Jupiter, Jupiter in Scorpio unearthing, Pluto, the planet that rules that unearthing, and it's being in Capricorn, which is our work. And it's both of those are feminine. Scorpio is feminine, Capricorn's feminine. Jupiter in my mind is feminine. Pluto in my mind is feminine. Maybe everything's feminine except Mars and Uranus. So hi Jessie, how are you? So I'm just talking about how potent this time period is for pushing through some blocks in our work in the world and really unearthing and looking at what has been holding us back. What are our past beliefs and our past conditioning around who we are and what our permission level is, especially doing feminine work. And Pluto's definitely a little bit about money, and Scorpio's definitely a little bit about money. So how well are you able to receive money? How well are you able to work with your own money and not overspend or not just waste it? So these themes are really up, and they're going to be, so I did a recording and it's still available for purchase for the whole year, looking at your chart, looking at what transits are happening and understanding a little bit more about when are good times to act for you versus good times to integrate and rest for you, which is still available. There's a link on my blog. But I was saying in that video, and I'll share that with you guys here, is that really January 1st wasn't really big for setting intentions. Sorry. But you can still do it. And what's interesting is what January 1st until the 15th is really important for is having clarity and things coming to the surface of your consciousness that have been holding you back. So you might have all these big goals, right? And we have this belief, well, at least I do, in the law of attraction. And so you can have these big goals and be like, yes, I'm putting this out there. I'm just going to go for it. Well, what's happening during this time period of these 2 weeks, and we're in it right now, is the things come forward. Yes, feeling feminine. Yes, and powerful in your feminine. Awesome. I just got your newsletter today and I was looking at it. It looks beautiful. So this is a time for us to unearth and look at. So Pluto and Capricorn and Jupiter and Scorpio, these themes of just those two things for 2018 are huge. Capricorn and Scorpio, and Capricorn's all cold and practical and getting stuff done, and Scorpio's not at all practical and all about death, rebirth, rising from the ashes, getting to the place that's most uncomfortable for you, and that is your power place. So these two things together, it's just a really powerful time for you to come into awareness about what has held you back in the past. And that's in the past, leaving it in the past. And then when the new moon comes on January 16th in Capricorn, this is such fertile ground for you to actually set the intentions and actually get to a place where you are more aware of where you've had fears, where you felt like, oh, if I do this, people are going to judge me. Oh, if I step into this role, people are going to say that I'm not worthy of doing that. A lot of that is just a construct of our own mind, and that is programming from the past. So, and I was just talking about in my last video that got cut off, and I'm so bummed about that, but whatever. I was talking about even if you're not a woman, the feminine is rising. And what's happening is we're going to see it rise in each other, and we have this opportunity in our own consciousness to notice when we want to judge, when we want to say, well, what makes you think that you can do this? Who said? What degree do you have? when we have that judgment of them, that is a judgment of ourselves. So when this feminine is rising, this feminine is so powerful and does not need a fucking degree, okay? And depending on what you're doing, I'm not saying you should be doing any surgical work without a degree. I'm saying that a lot of this feminine is felt, is fierce, is unpredictable in terms of how, you might go in and you think you're teaching a class on one thing and it might just come across totally different and be beautiful in its own way. Even when I do these lives, I love how they just kind of flow in their own way. That is the feminine. The feminine is not linear. The feminine is cyclical. And it's important to remember, especially, if you think about birth or any of those things, there needs to be the lack of practicality. And so this year, we do have Capricorn, and Capricorn is such a big part of this. Yes. The 15th, 16th. So 15th, I would say, is the biggest day, and then 16th is also important. But the 15th is Jupiter sextile Pluto, and you're going to get it's going to be really potent for coming into consciousness around these things. And then the 16th is great for, okay, now I am, and writing your intentions, I am doing this. I am walking every day and feeding my body beautifully, whatever it is. And you can also, Jessie, I know that I think you've gotten a chart reading with me before, and let me know if I'm wrong, but if you have your chart, you can also look at where 27 degrees of Capricorn is for you. So for me in particular, it's in my 6th house. So it's going to be like the things I was giving examples about. If it's in your 10th house, it's definitely going to be more about work. So setting your intentions based on where this is for you are going to be the most potent. It doesn't mean that you can't set them in other areas, but it's helpful to know where it's happening. And I'm going to be I'll do a whole other video probably on the new moon. Okay. So the Jupiter sextile Pluto is going to happen 3 times this year. Really important. But all 3 of those times are going to be like, bing, things come into consciousness and you're like, oh, is that really how I feel about that? Okay, so I use the example of, having people around you that are growing, and can you honor that? Because the more you can honor that within them, the more you're going to be able to grow yourself, right? And this is a really important reflection. Okay, cool. Yeah, Jessie, if you have a printout or email with the chart on it, then you want to look to that to see where Capricorn is. And I can post a glyph. I will post the glyph of what Capricorn looks like in your chart because I know it's confusing. So look to the post. Also, I have a free video. I have a whole YouTube channel, so if you guys aren't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, you might want to check that out. And I have a whole video on Saturn and Capricorn, which is happening for 3 years, so it's not something that you're going to feel right away, but definitely you're going to notice growth opportunity and maybe some restrictions, maybe some roadblocks. But when we get in there and we're actually taking apart the roadblock, really we're gifted this whole new pathway, right? So the work is important. We want our lives to be so easy and full of ease, but we also want to have the right kind of work for us. If we're doing the right kind of work, we're going to be rewarded tenfold, right? So we just want to make sure we're not setting up blocks to doing that work. So that's Saturn and Capricorn. You might want to check out that video. And then I was going to talk about all planets direct. I already kind of mentioned it, but it's happening for the first 3 months from January to March. And then, of course, we're going to get a fiery retrograde, Mercury retrograde in March, end of March to April 15th. See, I'm giving away all my free things all the things that I talked about in my video, but basically I was like, do your taxes early this year. Do not wait till the last minute. Okay, last little tip that I'm going to share from my video, but if you want that whole video, it is available for purchase on my blog. Check out my blog. Check out my YouTube channel. You guys, I love you all. I hope you have a beautiful day. I'm doing big work. I'm doing a free intuitive development course that's on January 12th. I would love to see you there. There are limited spaces, so just definitely get on the list if you want to be in on that. And with that, I'm changing the whole structure of my business. So if you are wanting to get in to see me before I do that, I am going to be raising my rates, believe it or not, and I feel completely confident in that. And if you're wanting to work with me, that change is probably going to happen around the new moon. So definitely get in if you want to work with me before that time. Otherwise, I'm excited to see, I'm raising my rates, but it's also I'm raising my value. I'm having more structural systems in place that support you in the work that you're doing. And I'm really excited to see what you guys all do in 2018. It's a huge year for the Rising Feminine, and that includes for men and women, and I hope you guys have a great day. Please post any questions you have here about anything I mentioned in my video, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great week. Bye.